Who puffs and declines with pendant and bending arch. They do not know whom they souse. With spray. This painting could get you in a lot of trouble with Anthony Comstock and his Methodist smut hounds. They would rather see you in prison or have you commit suicide before you should offend their Society for the Suppression of Vice sensibilities. Does anyone here know the artist responsible for this painting? My good friend, Tom Eakins. Eakins is the only artist I know who can resist the temptation to see what he thinks ought to be rather than what is. Eakins sees the spirit, but does not make a man all spirit. And Eakins sees the flesh, but does not make too much of it, does not make him all body. Eakins errs a little, just a little, in the direction of the flesh. And this photograph, this painting, this series, all me by Eakins. Yes, photographs, zoetropes, painting, you name it, Tom does it. His last favor to me, he's going to be one of my pallbearers. Carry these old bones to my tomb. Tom likes to say that he paints naked women because a naked woman is the most beautiful thing there is. Except a naked man. And that naked man, do you recognize him with his clothes off? That's Bill Duckett. Remember him from earlier? Well, Bill's one of Eakins' nude models. Now, nude models get Eakins in a lot of trouble. One time, teaching, Eakins snatches the loincloth off the model, a man, and there are women in class. He is forced to resign. Now, was it prudishness or professional jealousy? You see, Tom's work is not appreciated by the artistes, the so-called elected professionals. The people that like Tom's work best are those who have no artistic prejudices to interpose. But it could also have been the prudishness. And we all get blasted. When I say father stuff, or mother stuff, or onanist, or bare legs, or belly, oh God, you might suppose I was citing some diabolical obscenity. Will the world ever get over its own indecencies? Take your clothes off. Take her clothes off. Paint naked bodies. Say the unspeakable. Break the rules. Knowing Tom Eakins gives me courage. And reading Emerson gives me courage. Whosoever would be a man must be a nonconformist. America is a poem in our eyes, and it will not wait long for meters. Wait no longer, America. The 4th of July, I mail a copy of The Leaves of Grass to Emerson, and this letter comes back to me the in the mail. Dear Sir, Leaves of Grass, the most extraordinary piece of wit and wisdom that America has yet contributed. Your free and brave thought, I have great joy in it. I find incomparable things said incomparably well. I greet you at the beginning of a great career. Emerson. Simmering, simmering, simmering. Emerson brings me to a boil. As soon as I can, I republish The Leaves of Grass, second edition, and on the spine I stamp in gold, I greet you at the beginning of a great career. R.W. Emerson. I include the whole text inside and my response to him, and there's some new poems and some reviews. Now, some have said that I should have asked him first. It did not sever our bond. In Boston, we discussed the third issue of Leaves of Grass. I have two new sections of poems, the Callum's poems, Greek, and the Children of Adam poems about man, woman, love. Emerson thinks I should get rid of the Children of Adam poems. He has objections, neither moral nor literary, but with an eye toward my success. He thinks that the poems will sell, but for sex. I should eliminate certain objectionable passages. He offers absolutely no spiritual argument against the text. Give it a chance to be seen. That's his contention. But he does not see that if I cut out the sex, I might just as well cut everything out. The full scheme would no longer exist. It would be violated in its most sensitive spot. Sex. 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 Whether you sing a song or make a machine, go to the North Pole, or love your mother, or build a house, black shoes, or anything at all. It's sex, sex, sex. Sex is the root of it all. Sex, the coming together of men and women. Sex, sex, sex. Here with us, discredited, always imminent, but not suffered, rejected from our art, but still sex, sex. It's the root of all roots, the life below the life. And it's the thing in my work that has excited the roundest opposition, the sharpest venom, slander from people who consider themselves custodians of the morals of the world. Emerson understands. He's the one that coined the Puritan Trinity. He asks me once, does it ever concern you, do you ever fear that your freedom, your ease, your nonchalance with men will be misunderstood? Do you misunderstand it? No, I see it for what it is. It's beautiful. That's what he said. I remember Emerson visiting me the first time in New York. We went to Pfaff's on Broadway. No, it was the Fireman's Hall on Mercer Street. Many a young man caught his eye there. It reminded him of being distracted by his young friend Martin Gay. Emerson is Greek. And so is our friend Thoreau. Yes, Henry David's Civil Disobedience, Thoreau. Don't take my word for it. read his journals. I love Manhattan and he loves Walden Pond, but we share Greek views and he likes me. He wrote this about me. We ought to rejoice greatly in Walt Whitman. How they must shudder when they read him. He's awfully good. Well, not everybody likes me. Listen to this. Walt Whitman knows as much about art as a hog knows about mathematics. I have scores of quotations like this from my literary critics. Sticks and stones. But there are those who would break my bones. Secretary of the Interior, James Harlan, finds a copy of Leaves of Grass in my desk at the Bureau of Indian Affairs, fires me. Boston District Attorney Oliver Stevens, together with Massachusetts Attorney General Marsden and the Society for the Suppression of Vice, inform me that if I publish the Leaves in Boston, they'll have it declared obscene. We argue back and forth, back and forth. My publisher gets involved. Finally, they tell us absolutely 2 poems must go. The first, To a Common Prostitute, the title. The title alone stops them. And the second is called A Woman Waits for Me. And let me share with you what is perhaps the objectionable passage. It is I, you women. I make my way. I am stern, acrid, large, undissuadable. But I love you. I do not hurt you any more than is necessary for you. I pour the stuff to start sons and daughters fit for these states. I press with slow, rude muscle. I dare not withdraw till I deposit what has so long accumulated within me. Through you I drain the pent-up rivers of myself. In you I wrap 1,000 onward years. We avoid the censors and send the plates to the City of Brotherly Love to publish them there. Emerson warned me, though. I am now officially banned in Boston. Meanwhile, Harvard Library has a copy of Leaves of Grass, and they've stamped it with 2 blue stars. And they keep it with all the other taboo books under lock and key, safely away from the students. Don't let them get to you. I am more resolute because all have rejected me than I ever would have been had all accepted me. And remember, we will also always have allies. I have here both a book and a letter that came all the way from Honolulu. And the letter begins, I am the stranger who, passing, desires to speak to you. Those words are from Leaves of Grass. He starts his letter quoting me to me. Traveling interesting islands, for the first time I act as my nature prompts me. Not in America, not even California, where the men are tolerably bold. I sailed to Tahiti in 5 weeks to live the real life there, for your sake as well as my own. Affectionately yours, Charles Warren Stoddard. I'm working on a letter back to Charles. It begins, I received your beautiful, soothing South Sea idyll. I warmly approve of your adhesive nature. I know that the Western world would condemn, but those tender, personal relations in the Pacific Islands, touch me deeply. Much closer to home, I am admired by Abraham Lincoln. We see each other regularly on the streets of the capital, and we never speak. But he knows who I am, because back at his law office in Springfield, he used to read aloud from Leaves of Grass to his colleagues. Imagine Abraham Lincoln's voice saying, "For every atom belonging to me is good, belongs to you." And I'm admired in England. Dear Mr. Whitman, for years I have been attempting to explain what you call adhesiveness. I pored over Calamus as I used to pore over Plato, burning, panting. Tell me more about the love of man for man. John Addington Symonds. And then he writes, I might have been a mere English gentleman had I not read Leaves of Grass in time. And then he writes, in your concept of comradeship, do you contemplate semi-sexual emotions and actions between men? I write to him, the questions on Calamus daze me. That Calamus allowed the possibility of such as mention is terrible. The leaves are not to be mentioned for such gratuitous, undreamt, unreckoned, morbid inferences, disavowed by me and damnable. And I hope that stops this damnable question. I'll add to it. One great difference between you and me is restraint. At certain moments, I let the spirit impulse rage its utmost, its wildest, its damnedest. In my Leaves of Grass, I do so. Now, when he reads that, if he's half as intelligent as I think he is, he'll understand that I cannot possibly answer his question in a letter. He should have visited in person like Carpenter, but the words of a famous American author in writing, he would use that, print them right off. Ah, there he is. That's Symonds with one of his children. He's a married father of 4. Yes. Yes. That's it. Yes. Here is a mask he should certainly recognize. I write to him, though always unmarried, I have had 6 children. That's not a lie. I mean, perhaps a metaphor. Oh, give me some credit. Your sexual revolution would never have begun in the 1960s if I had not written so freely and openly about sex and the body. Do you need me to be the father of gay liberation as well? Symonds answers his own questions. Why do I need to answer them? Yes. 6 children. Indeed, there's Symonds in Tahiti. No, Symonds in England. And Charles Warren Stoddard in Tahiti. And Abraham Lincoln in Illinois. And Edward Carpenter in England. And Oscar Wilde. Yes. Oscar's a fine, large, handsome youngster. Young man, actually. I find him genuine, honest, and manly. Frank, outspoken, and manly. Man, he had the good sense to take a great liking to me. And he writes this. My dear, dear Walt, Before I leave America, I must see you again. There is no one in this wide, great world of America whom I love and admire so much. You are a factor in the heroic and spiritual evolution of the human being. The kiss of Walt Whitman is still on my lips. Mwah, Oscar. I write for those who will in future ages understand me. So, 6 children. See, there's 1 president, Wilde, Simmons, Carpenter, Stoddard, 4 writers, and the 6th, a painter, reading my leaves of grass as he painted this.
Dear friend, whoever you are, here, take this kiss. I give it especially to you. Do not forget me. I feel like one who has done his work. I progress on. The unknown sphere, more real than I dreamed, more direct, darts awakening rays about me. So long. Remember my words. I love you. I depart from materials. I am as one, disembodied, triumphant, dead.
I bequeath myself to the dirt, to grow from the grass I love. If you want me again, look for me under your boot soles.
Let's take just a couple-minute break and allow anybody to take off who needs to take off.